Joining me to discuss is Peter Trubowitz, a professor of international relations and associate fellow at Chatham House. It's great to have you with us on the program today. Now, Canada, Mexico, and China account for more than a third of the products brought into the US. So help us understand the magnitude of Trump's decision.
Well, it's huge, and it's why you're covering it, and every other news outfit across the planet is covering it. These are America's two biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico. A lot of goods travel across the border, both directions. They're three highly integrated economies, and so this is a very significant move by Donald Trump. I think it's motivated as much by politics as it is economics, and we can get into that, but there's no gainsaying it. It's a significant 25% across the board is a significant tariff.
And what are Donald Trump's tariffs really about then? Trump has cited the threat of illegal immigration and drugs as the reason behind this decision, but are they as out of control as he suggests?
Well, so he has definitely identified that fentanyl and migrants coming across the border as the main reason for pursuing tariffs. But I think this is really vintage Trump. It's as much about politics as it is anything else. Last week was a bad week for Donald Trump politically in the United States, and he needed to change the subject, and he needed to change it fast. And that's one reason that he announced midweek that the tariffs were coming. And I think it's pretty much succeeded in that sense. No one's talking about freezes on foreign assistance or the purges at the FBI or the firing of inspectors generals or the effort to slash federal funding. Everybody's talking about tariffs and trade wars, including us. But let me just say there's another purpose behind this. Trump sees the tariffs as a way to extend the tax cuts that were approved in 2017 during its first term, and that is a high priority item for him. The problem he has, to be able to extend those tax cuts, he's going to have to generate revenue to make up for the shortfall that will come from the tax cuts. And what his team is claiming is that the tariffs will generate much of the revenue, much of the lost revenue from the tax cuts. And this will be essential, whether it's true or not, to being able to push the tax cuts through Congress. So there are many things going on here. It has something to do with fentanyl and migrants, drugs and migrants, but there are other things involved as well.
Now, Canada and Mexico have swiftly responded with tariffs of their own. Canada has announced a matching 25% tariffs on the U.S. It seems they're facing this head on.
Yes, absolutely. And I think they're going to hit the U.S. where it hurts, or put this quite differently, they're going to hit members of the Republican Party, lawmakers in Congress, where it hurts, because what they're going to do is they're going to target districts and states that are heavily Republican in an attempt to ratchet up the heat. And at the same time, you're going to have Democrats jumping up and down about the potential inflationary implications of Trump's tariffs. So, this could go a couple of rounds. Trump has already threatened to retaliate again, to ratchet up higher if Mexico and Canada impose tariffs, which they've already announced that they will do. And of course, there's still China. China has indicated that it will probably impose tariffs as well, but it's kind of held its fire for now.
Now, Trump has, often declared his love of tariffs. During his first term in office, he imposed them primarily against China. But how do those differ from his new round of tariffs?
Well, I think one thing about these tariffs that are significantly different is he is, leaving aside China, the bulk of this, the heaviest tariffs are being aimed at America's allies. This is different. He is going after America's allies first. It reminds me of that old Henry Kissinger line, it may be dangerous to be America's enemy, but it can be fatal to be its friend. I mean, none of what is unfolding right now is supposed to happen under the US-Mexico-Canada trade agreement that Mr. Trump negotiated and signed in his first term. Trump has basically set aside America's treaty obligations, figuring, I think, that America's allies, for America's allies, access to the American market is more important than America's word. And I think that's what's different here.
Peter Trubowitz, Professor of International Relations and Associate Fellow at Chatham House, thank you so much for sharing your analysis with us on the program today.
Great to be with you. Thank you.